Hey, my name is Riley Potoshnik, and in this video, we are going to be talking about how you can generate more leads from your website. Most importantly, we're going to go through an example here to talk about the key points of any high-performing website, and then we're going to jump down into my computer and actually look at some really great websites so you can get some, we'll say, first-hand examples of what needs to be done to not only make your website perform well on Google, but also to help it perform well when it comes to generating leads. And that's what we're all trying to do. And what I've seen, my background is a web designer. I came from the web design world, building websites for lawn care companies, cleaning companies, all kinds of different home service companies. Now, I don't do it so much anymore, so this is not a biased perspective on why you should buy a big, expensive website. But this is very truthful here as far as, in my experience, a lot of companies shortcut the website process. They think, my website just has to be good enough where they can provide me with their information and I'll do all the selling over the phone. But that's ultimately selling your website short, because what ultimately happens is when somebody finds you on Google, they are given your information by referral. They, find you by a Facebook ad, or, however they find you. They are all going to end up on your website at some point in time to learn more about your business. And if you've shortcut the process of building your website and only put the bare minimum on your website, like maybe the services you offer, the area you serve, and that's it, and maybe a form so they can reach out to you, you are putting yourself on the back foot of what a website really needs to do to sell, because at the end of the day, it is the salesperson for your business. Like I mentioned, so many people are going to be going to this thing, and what ultimately often happens is if you shortcut that process of developing a really nice website, I don't mean from a looks perspective, I mean from a strategy perspective. If you shortcut that process, you ultimately turn people away from your business. Because, let's take, for example, somebody finds you on Google. They're doing a Google search, they're looking for, we'll just use my area as an example, lawn care in Frisco, Texas. If they are looking up companies in Frisco, Texas to do some kind of lawn care service, and they are clicking on all kinds of different companies trying to figure out the best one, if you've somehow throughout the process optimized for minimum cost on your website, and I am not advocating for the most expensive website, oftentimes it just so happens the most expensive website is the best performing website, but that's beyond the point here. If you've underdeveloped your website, people are going to click on your website and quickly leave, because the website is the thing that gets them excited and interested in potentially talking with you more and potentially to work with you ultimately. So when it comes to developing your website, we have to think about how do we persuade people and hook people so they read more throughout the website and ultimately give us a call, text us, or fill out a form. That's what we'll talk about here at the end. That's our call to action. So the first thing that we have to do to develop a really high-performing website is the hook. And this does fly under the radar a little bit because, me personally, I've always thought about the middle here, or often I can get caught up thinking about the middle here, thinking about answering their questions, building trust with them, implementing social proof. But the hook is just as important. So this top section, this is the hook up here. This is what everybody is going to see when they first land on your website. This is what we consider above the fold. So the fold would be somewhere like right here where they have to start scrolling down before they see all this extra content. This is below the fold. This is above the fold. And the above the fold section is critical to get people continuing to scroll below the fold. If your hook is weak, like for example, when it comes to SEO, we all get kind of caught up with how do we get higher and higher up the list of Google. But sometimes optimizing for SEO also may compromise your hook, your ability to keep people on the page. You can fill the page with tons of content, but we have to remember that when it comes to, say, human nature, we will skim the page. And if it's so full of text that they can't skim, they're going to bounce off the page and leave. So up here at the hook, we may optimize for SEO saying like lawn care in Frisco, Texas, but that's not what's going to get people interested to keep scrolling down the page. What they are looking for, when they are looking for a lawn care company, they're looking for professionalism, they're looking for dependability, they're looking for a hassle-free company to work with. Like lawn care in Plano, Texas, lawn care in Frisco, Texas does not communicate that message. So up here, even though it may not be the perfect SEO-friendly headline, we want to say something along the lines of professional lawn care rated by 100 plus individuals, 100 plus homeowners in your area, something like that. That's going to hook them, and then you can back that up with some kind of social proof in here saying we work with 500 different homeowners or 60 plus 5-star reviews on Google. Like that right there, that's a strong hook. Okay, so once we've done that, we can move down the page. And this is when we start thinking about how do we persuade them that we are the right company for them. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to answer questions. Everybody coming to your website, or frankly, even people who call you from a door hanger or something like that, everybody is going to have questions before they say, take my credit card or sign me up or whatever it is. They will all have questions. And chances are when you've talked to people on the phone, they have asked you these same questions. Now, I am not going to advocate and say, fill your website up to the brim with question, answer, question, answer. That's not what we're trying to do. The way or the thing that we are trying to do here is answer the questions that are going to potentially keep them from reaching out to us. So we want to answer the key things. What services do you offer? Because if you don't offer the services I'm interested, I'm not going to contact you. So that's like one of the first thing we answer, as well as what service, where do you service? Because the two things that they need to know, do you do what I need and do you serve where I am? Those are the first things that we have to answer. From there, we can start talking about, we can start working on persuasion here and start actually kind of aligning ourselves with their problem. And that's big when it comes to marketing and sales in general. It's like if you have a service, how can you align your solution with their problem? So when they come to your website, there's a very good chance that they are experiencing a problem. They hate their current provider, their current lawn provider. They really don't like the results that they've been getting. They just moved into a new neighborhood and are looking for a company. Like these are three common pain points that people have that you can align yourself with to get more people actually reaching out to you. So pain points are a huge thing that we can leverage. And when we jump down into our in the websites, we'll actually look at these pain points and see how different companies align. One thing that I don't see a lot of, and this is kind of an experimental piece, but oftentimes, when we are trying to optimize our website, it's often very broad. We're trying to optimize for a ton of different visitors coming to the website in all kinds of different situations that may interest them to get them to pull the trigger and actually reach out to us. But one thing you can do is up here in the menu, ask the question, do you already work with somebody? Do you already work with a lawn care company? And from there, if they say yes, then you can start weeding down, okay, what are those pain points? And you can start asking them questions. Because if you ask more questions, in an automated format, you don't have to do this over the phone. You can figure out, okay, do they dislike their current provider? Okay, why is that? Do they leave the gate open? Do they not show up on time? Because once you understand exactly why they are unhappy, you can tailor the website content to that exact issue. And that sort of thing, when you can align yourself with their problem and present yourself as a solution, you're going to get a ton of people reaching out to you because now you are the no-brainer choice for their situation. Now, there's no point in them bouncing off this page and going to look at a competitor to find somebody better because once you've aligned yourself with their problem and you've used testimonials, pictures, videos, and things to build social proof and show that you are a very trusted company, you've just aligned yourself with their problem and you've made yourself a no-brainer solution or a no-brainer decision, and that's when you get more and more people reaching out to you. It's the generic websites that just kind of talk about what they do, where they do it, and then give them a form that don't perform well. It's all about marketing and sales, and it's really the basics of marketing and sales. It's understanding what they need from you and then presenting and then aligning yourself with those challenges as the primary solution to their problem. So we have pain points, and then we have finally the call to action. And the big thing that we have to remember here with the call to action is make it simple. The harder your call to action is to actually pull the trigger on, to actually do. So like forms are generally easy. Just make sure that you don't have a ton of form fields in that form. Otherwise, you're going to overwhelm people and they may get distracted mid-form. Who knows? Short forms perform better. Phone call us, that's fine. But the challenge we are running into nowadays is, in marketing, when it comes to lead generation, our primary goal is to capture their contact information as quickly as possible, because that means we got a lead. But if we are asking them to call us, we're finding that very few people actually have time to pick up the phone and call you right at that very point in time when they see your marketing materials. So what ultimately happens is they see all of this, they like what they see, and then they say, I'll get back to you later. The challenge with that is people get distracted, things come up throughout their day, and then they never actually get back to us. And at that point, we don't get the lead. We don't have any contact information to follow up with them by. So ultimately, the thing that has worked best, that has been performing the best, is text us. Text us for a free quote. Text us to get in touch with our team and talk about your project. That kind of call to action, it's super simple. Anybody can do it right at that very point in time, and it's generated us a lot of results. So these kind of things, the hook, questions, pain points, and call to action, these are the things you have to think about. So let's go ahead and jump down in the website and actually put some websites to everything that we've talked about so far. So here are 3 websites that do this really well. GrassPerson, Purple Care, and Turf Scouts. And I've always been a big fan of these websites. Turf Scouts is one that I've built. But GrassPerson is one that I've always kept an eye on to see what they're doing. Because they always have a really nice headline, like get the best lawn on the block. A lot of people, especially in neighborhoods, are like, when people walk by my home, I want them to look at it and say, wow, that's a really good property. So a headline like this, or even Purple Care, where it's like create your dream yard, or Savannah's premier turf care experts, they all kind of align themselves with something the homeowner wants. And that's really the key to any great headline. And then as you scroll through here, GrassPerson is one of the more simple websites of the 3, where it's just some basic text imagery. And the really nice thing, when you are working with families, when you have pictures of families on your website, it gives this sense of you are family friendly. You're not going to be coming in with any chemicals. You're not going to be coming in and potentially not to over exaggerate it, putting their family at risk. It gives this sense of almost peace and trust in family friendly nature, where you're aligning yourself with these families, with these homeowners who may have young kids or pets, and you just become this company that they're almost comfortable to work with. And you see this across a lot of different websites. Purple Care looking to position themselves as the luxury option. Same thing with Turf Scouts. And as you scroll through these websites, whether it be GrassPerson or Purple Care or even Turf Scouts here, the thing that we were talking about on the whiteboard was answering questions and positioning yourself in a way where people are like, this is the no-brainer option. It's the case for GrassPerson here, talking about what we do, telling their story up here or about the company, using testimonials, having a map full of the customers and the people that they serve. Then you look at Purple Care, same thing here. You have, some social proof here, years of experience, people they've served, and then, just going through exactly what we've talked about. Purple Care does a really nice job with imagery. And if you're more of a landscaping-based company, and frankly, even lawn care, because, as we talked about, people want a really nice lawn, a really healthy lawn, you can communicate that with imagery, and Purple Care here does that the best. And I really like that. I really like what they do on the website. And then with Turf Scouts here, it's the same case. We use imagery to point people in the right direction for the services they're interested in. We talk about what makes this company different. And we talk a little bit about the Turf Scouts method. We talk about testimonials. It's exactly what we talked about on the whiteboard. How do we get people on the website to continue scrolling through? And as they are scrolling through the website, we are building to that trust. We are positioning ourselves as the company that they should be working with because we do the best work. That's kind of the thing that we're trying to do. I will point out that GrassPerson here, and Purple Care may do it as well. But Grass Person is the one that I know that does it the best. When you are trying to position yourself as like the family friendly company where people really trust you, they are excited to work with you. Grass Person does a really nice job of bringing the human presence back to the forefront of their business. So oftentimes when we look at different companies, lawn care, landscaping, it's often very professional, I don't want to use the word corporate, but you kind of put the people behind the scenes in the company at the forefront. Grass Person changes that. They have a lot of great videos throughout their website where you see the owner, you see the people behind the business, and actually you see the team doing the work on these properties. And you get a sense where these are very friendly people. These are very trustworthy people. And that's something I really like about the Grass Person website. All three of these websites do a very good job of making people trust them, answering people's questions, kind of touching on some pain points, and ultimately positioning themselves where people are ready to get started and reach out to them. So these were some things to think about on your website, thinking about how you answer questions, how you create that hook to keep people on your website rather than bouncing off and going to a competitor. How do you, use pain points to get people ready to get started? And how do you simplify that call to action with texting or simplifying your form? These are some ideas here. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. I would be happy to talk more about this stuff, but hopefully these 5 things gave you some ideas on how you can improve your website.